Super Mario 64 was first released back in 1996. Back then, it was one of the most exciting times to be a gamer. I remember back when I first got my Nintendo 64 for Christmas, opening it up and being all like, "Oh my God! And one of the very first Nintendo 64 games that I ever got to play was Super Mario 64, and it was freaking awesome. We was all flying around, jumping around, collecting stars, collecting coins. There was Goombas, motherfucking Goombas. The castle was crazy. Full 360-degree control. Nintendo even sent us this VHS in the mail promoting Super Mario 64 before it even came out. But that weird VHS wasn't the only weird Super Mario 64 merchandise that came out. Oh no, there was plenty more where that came from. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the weirdest Super Mario 64 merchandise that most of you have probably never even heard of before. So, let's get it started. Starting off the video, we got this weird Mario 64 camera. Now, back in the 90s, we used to love taking pictures of stuff. Whether it be family vacations, embarrassing photos, or whatever. And I remember having this camera specifically as a kid. It was officially licensed by Nintendo and made by Nascar. I don't really know why they decided to make a Super Mario 64 camera, but I enjoyed playing with it as a kid. It's just one of those wacky 90s items that Nintendo was making for their games, I guess. Mario 64 was super popular at the time, so they were throwing the Mario 64 logo on a lot of things back then. And believe me, we're gonna get to some of the weirder ones. Speaking of cameras, we have another Super Mario 64 camera, made by the same people that made the other Mario 64 camera. This one's a one-time use 35mm camera, like the Kodak cameras, where you take all the pictures in the camera and they come with like 25 shots, that's it. You get to take the picture once, you screw it up, then that's too bad, you don't get to take that picture again. You're supposed to like take it to Walmart and get the photos developed. Afterwards, the camera itself is disposable, so you could either keep it if it's collectible like this one, or you can just throw it away. But I never really had this one growing up, so this one's news to me. I never knew that there was a Mario 64 disposable camera, so I thought it was pretty cool and a neat thing to put in the video. Nintendo really loved their Super Mario 64 cameras because we have yet another Super Mario 64 camera. But this one comes with freaking binoculars. It's another 35mm camera that has a built-in lens cover and a large viewfinder. Thick! Says it's ideal for sunglasses and eyeglasses. So this thing must have like a hell of a flash because it recommends wearing sunglasses when you're taking pictures. It's got a cool Nintendo 64 logo on it, but it doesn't really say Super Mario 64 on the camera. We also have the compact binoculars that are the perfect size for camping, sightseeing, and bird watching. Watching that ass. Yep, these things were probably crap. Now, I don't know what Nintendo has to do with sightseeing or camping or bird watching, but it's a thing, and it was made by the same company that made the other cameras as well. So I guess Nintendo had some big deal with Nascar, and they produced a bunch of random Nintendo merchandise. And if you're going camping Nintendo style, then you better bring your Super Mario 64 portable AM/FM radio. That's right, they made a Super Mario 64 radio as well. And this shit just screams 90s. For some reason, the 90s was obsessed with these big boom boxes. People thought it was cool to like walk around holding them over their shoulder. I still don't understand why people thought that was cool, but they did. But if you wanted to look really freaking cool, then you had this one, because it's freaking Nintendo, okay? It says you can listen to AM/FM broadcasts. It has a handy carry handle. Whoa, that's handy? Okay. And a slick new design. Yep, that's slick alright. So slick that shit's falling off the radio. There were actually different versions of this AM/FM radio. Some of them came in different colors, and some of them came in different styles. So if you really wanted an AM/FM Super Mario 64 radio, you had plenty to choose from. Oh, but if a radio wasn't enough for you, then they also had an AM/FM clock radio, so you could listen to music and tell what time it is at the same time. And I'm not making this shit up. They actually made this. It says it has a water-resistant speaker, a rubber flex antenna, and you can even use it in the shower. Now that's handy. Oh, but the radios don't stop there. Just when you think you've had enough, we got the AM/FM radio with LED blinking lights. This one looks like some kind of alien looking thing and shit is weird. But hey, at least this one has the Super Mario 64 logo on the actual product. They were proud of this one. And I actually think this one is kind of the coolest one too, just because of the LED lights. It's even got a nice little headphone jack too. And speaking of headphones, yep, they've got them too. We get a Super Mario 64 AM/FM headphone radio. Now with these, you can listen to AM/FM broadcasts. They're great for going to the beach and sporting events. I wouldn't be caught dead with one of these at a beach. These headphones are adjustable, and they even have a foldable design, which is pretty futuristic for the 90s. They also have soft foam padded earpieces, and I remember these kind of earpieces. They looked soft and comfortable and everything, but after they've been on your ears for a while, they start to freaking hurt. They also made some Super Mario 64 walkie-talkies. Now here's a weird one. Super Mario 64 Data Bank. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. A data bank. Features telephone directory, scheduler memo, calculator converter, a clock, a daily alarm, and secret memory. Because, you know, kids really needed this to keep up with their schedule and their telephone directories and all their data and their bank and shit. Now I can keep up with all my YouTube earnings on my Super Mario 64 data bank. Like, this is just like the weirdest Super Mario 64 merchandise I've ever seen. Like, what were they thinking? Take the square unit of 4 divided by pi, and that's how you get the star in Tall Tall Mountain. Up next, we got Mario 64 Nascar. I actually own this one. I got it at a yard sale a long time ago. I thought it was the most random thing, seeing Super Mario 64 on a car like this. I know it's not actually NASCAR, it's like Johnny Lightning Racing Dreams. They're like one-time production runs, and it's an officially licensed Nintendo product, which makes you think that they're pretty rare, but they're only actually worth about 25 bucks. But overall, it's a pretty obscure but pretty cool thing to have. Up next, we got some Super Mario 64 pencil toppers, which are pretty cool as well. And one of the weirdest Super Mario 64 merchandise that I could find was this extremely rare 1996 Metal Mario coin spinner toy. Never heard of this before researching online, but apparently what it does is that you insert a coin into it, then pull the lever. It makes Metal Mario shoot a coin out of his crotch. Never thought I'd see the day that Metal Mario is running around shooting coins out of his crotch. But there it is. There was also this Super Mario 64 manga in Japan, which was pretty cool, but some of the parts in it were just kind of weird. For some reason, they had a really buff looking Bowser. Like, he looks sexy as hell. I don't remember Bowser looking like that in Mario 64. No wonder Peach goes missing all the time. But yeah, overall, Super Mario 64 has some pretty weird merchandise back in the 90s. And I'm sure there's a lot more out there that I overlooked. So if you guys know any more weird Super Mario 64 merchandise, let me know about it in the comments section below. Support the channel by donating to me on Patreon to keep these videos going. By supporting me on Patreon, you'll also get your name at the end of every one of my videos. Or if you want to donate but don't have Patreon, then you can use the super thanks button below, which helps me out a lot as well. Thank you all for watching. This has been Brandon, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.